So this is just one more step than we're used to. A two-step equation contains two operations. To solve two-step equations, you use inverse operations to undo each operation in reverse order of the order of operations. What that means is you're going to add or subtract before you multiply or divide. So it's just the opposite, because you're undoing the whole thing and your goal is still to get the variable all by itself. So where is the variable at in this equation? On the left side of the equation or on the right? It's on the left. So we need to move this plus 9 away from the variable term. You cannot deal with the variable term first. You have to move everything away from it. So how do you move a positive 9 or adding 9? Yes. So we're going to subtract 9 from both sides.
Did you have to put the negative 9 on both sides? Or
Yes.
Did you put it on one?
No, you have to put it on both. If you can't see, you can move over there. Or even right there's another one. I feel like I'm right in your way. So what happens is this will cancel, and that's what you want. It's going to move to the other side. So we are left with bring down 4p equals 16. And now this is what you've already done. What times 4 gives you 16? How do you undo multiplication? Division. Divide both sides by 4. So your answer is p equals 4.
You divide by that variable every time?
Whatever's attached to the variable, yes. It's called the coefficient. Whatever's in front of the variable, you would divide by that because you're undoing multiplication. Now, if it's division, you'll undo it by multiplying, which we'll see in number 3. So how do we check this? Well, we write the original equation right here, and then instead of the variable, we got 4, so I'm going to put times 4 in there in a different color, so maybe it stands out to you a little bit. And then what is 4 times 4?
16.
16 plus 9. And 16 plus 9 is 25. So make sure you're doing your check, because this is how you figure out whether or not your answer is correct or not. I guess move this way. This desk is way too far up. Move that way. Thank you. All right, so in the next one, same type of thing. What side of the equation is the variable on? The left. It's not always on the left, just on this sheet. It is on the first two. This has the variable with it, so we have to move the negative 3 or the subtraction of 3 first. How do we undo subtraction of 3? We're going to add 3 to both sides. This will cancel, which is what you want. You bring down the 5y equals. Very good. And how did you do that? What did you put in the calculator? Exactly. Do exactly what Brighton did. You put in what you see on the calculator. So it's a negative 23 plus 3. Negative 23 plus 3. Don't add extra signs. Don't add extra negatives and things. It's just how it looks. So it's negative 20. And this is still multiplication. So how do we undo multiplication? Division. So we're going to divide both sides by what?
5.
Very good. And what does y equal?
4.
Negative 4. And here's the thing. When you're doing your check, if it doesn't work, try the opposite sign on the number you got. So say you accidentally put 4 and it didn't work, try negative 4. Or if you get 18 and that doesn't work, try negative 18. Because more often than not, that's the problem. It's just the sign on your answer. So to check now, we do 5 times, what did we get? Negative 4 minus 3 should equal negative 23. You always go back to the original equation. So 5 times negative 4 is negative 20 minus 3. And then if you want to just put that in the calculator, you can. You'll see it is negative 23. Any questions so far? So it seems really easy, right? Yes, so far. They're all this easy because you guys are good at these. So the next one. This is attached to this is the variable term right here, t divided by negative 6. So you can't touch that yet. You deal with the variable term last. So what can we do? What do we do here? So you subtract 1 from both sides. You bring down t divided by negative 6, and then obviously 3 minus 1 is 2. Now this says what divided by negative 6 equals 2. So how do you undo division? You multiply. So we're going to multiply by that negative 6 on both sides. What happens is this cancels, and you're just left with t equals negative 12. And we have to check. If you want to, even in today's work, if you want to set up your paper to look like this, we're modeling this for a reason, so your work should match this. And when you go to do your work, don't put your notes up. You should keep them out. So let's check. Instead of t, we got negative 12 divided by negative 6 plus 1 should equal 3. So negative 12 divided by negative 6 is 2. And 2 plus 1 is 3. So if you I don't know, say you got 24 on accident or something. If you did, or you got positive 12, you missed the negative on it. If you got positive 12 divided by negative 6, you'd get negative 2 plus 1, which does not equal 3. So it's not as obvious when you get the correct answer all the time, but when you get the wrong answer, these two will not match up. Next side. This is again like number 3. What would we do first here, class? Add 12 to both sides. So you bring down r divided by negative 2. You want that to cancel. Be very careful when you put that into your calculators or in your brain. Negative 27 plus 12 is?
Negative 15.
Negative 15, very good. Now this is saying what divided by negative 2 equals negative 15. How do you undo division?
Multiplication.
And what do we multiply by on both sides? Negative 2. See, you guys have got this. That cancels and you're left with r equals 30. And to check, 30 divided by negative 2 minus 12 should equal negative 27. 30 divided by negative 2 is negative 15. And that does equal negative 27. Okay, so for number 5, when you see negatives, you have to be extra careful, just because when you bring numbers down, you have to make sure to bring the negative with it. So here is the variable term. It's a negative 8d. So you can't touch that until the very end. You have to get rid of the negative 7 first. So remove a negative 7. You add, yes, you'd have a positive 7 on both sides. Write that down. This will cancel. Like I said, though, you have to be careful and bring the entire term down.
From the interruption, Alicia Garcia, if you are in the building, please come to the parent office. Alicia Garcia, please come to the parent office at this time. Thank you.
All right, so you brought down the entire negative 8d. This is what I'm saying, like sometimes when you go to check your answer, say you didn't notice the negative and you brought it down in your answer, you know, it's going to have the wrong sign on it. So sometimes if your check doesn't work, try the other sign because of little things like this. Now what do we do? This means negative 8 times what equals 24? How do we undo multiplication?
Division.
Divide by what? The full negative 8, because we want it to cancel. So D equals negative 3. So let's try that in our check. So negative 7 minus 8, and then I'll do this in a different color, times negative 3 equals 17. You cannot subtract these two and then multiply by negative 3, Honestly, you could just do it in your calculator and it would do the correct order of operations. If not, this turns into -8 times -3 is actually plus 24. And then you combine these two and you will get 17 equals 17. But again, if you just wanted to put negative, maybe it's hard to see that. Works better without the lights. -7 minus 8 times -3. It'll still give you the correct answer. Question?
Why do you do 17 equals 17? Why do you do that?
Because this side is telling you this is what it should equal, and this is us doing that. Okay, so say, and I'll just put this up on, say you accidentally didn't bring down this negative. So your answer, say for your answer you got D equals 3. This is when it'll become more obvious when you use the wrong answer. So then you put in 8 times 3 equals 17, because that's the full equation. It's supposed to equal 17. Well, this would be -7 minus 24 equals 17. Well, what's -7 minus 24? Does that equal the same thing? No. So that's how you find out. Like, that does not equal that. So that's what I'm saying. If you get the wrong check, try the opposite sign, because that would not be the correct answer. Sometimes you need to see a wrong check to understand how it works. Incorrect check. Let's look at the word problem. Salvador purchased a computer for $650, which is actually pretty cheap for a computer. I don't know, like, how much are those MacBooks now? $1,200? I think iPads can cost $1,200 now. Your phones are all about $1,000. That's much more reasonable. Yeah, I'm not sure how much the iPhone 11 is, but that's basically a small computer, and that's what, $1,200?
$1,000.
So, I'm just saying, it's, yes, expensive. That's why you gotta work and save money. So Salvador purchased a computer for $650. He paid $105 initially and will pay $20 per month until the computer is paid off. Write an equation to find out how many months he will make payments. Typically, this works in a different way, like when you go to buy a car or something. If you don't have the cash to buy the car, you might have some money to put down, but then they ask you how many months. Like, do you want to pay this off of 5 years, 4 years, something like that. But we know he's going to pay a certain amount per month. So the total is $650. When it says he paid $105 initially, that means he had $105 that he put down. And he's going to pay $20 per month. So that's what gets the variable. Because it's every month. We're trying to find out how many months. So the X is representative of how many months. That's what we're trying to figure out. So how do we do this now? What do we do first? How do we solve this?
You gotta, yeah.
Tell me again then.
Okay, so you have to draw the line first, and then you gotta do minus 20 on each side. No.
Remember, you can't touch the variable term first. You have to do the other number first.
Then negative 105.
Yes, we have to subtract 105 on both sides. I don't want to cross things out so people can see. Equals 20x. So that's, once he paid the $105, this is his remaining balance. He still owes $545 on this computer, and he's going to pay $20 per month. So now what do we do? Very good. And x equals... Right, but that, when you're looking at something like this, it won't be paid off in 27 months. You actually need to round up 28 months. Because it won't completely be paid off. You still owe a a quarter of that payment. So you would need a full 28 months to pay off that computer. 2 years and 4 months. So it's 2 1/3 years.
Well, his paycheck is more than that.
That's why you got to save money. You figure out what it is you want, and you save the money you get.